Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy, we have a busy show today.
Looks like it.
Well, it's just on the cusp of April, which means that people are, it's starting to get very active in Moore County.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be speaking with the Encore Center. We have some updates we want to give you on some productions. There's a reveal coming up. They're getting ready for their 24-25 season, and we're going to be speaking in the second half of the show with a lady who has a business in town celebrating her 25th year in business called Spiritquest.
Cool.
So Becky Podlogar is here from the Encore Center, and she is the theater company manager, and she has brought with her Shannon, Helton, and Luke Taylor, who will be talking about an upcoming event, but that starts April 26th. But Becky, before the 26th of April, you have a Bags and Bourbon Bingo event coming up.
Yes, we do. We are revealing our 24-25 theater season.
Right here?
On April 6th.
Uh-oh.
It's a secret till then. But we are revealing what our new season will be, and that will be incredibly our 6th theater season already. So
right.
It's just amazing the support we've had from the community, and we're getting ready to start our 6th season of theater productions in Moore County.
Just before we got on the show, I gave you the name and number of a gentleman who I've known who wants you to come and speak to his group in Southern Pines. And I think the more exposure that you have, you just keep creating layers and layers of people who have interest in what the Encore Center is doing. You survived COVID. You came out of COVID, and most people had a very hard time getting through that period. But today you're as strong as you've ever been. And I know you cannot reveal the productions, but you can tell me how many you're going to be revealing.
Yes, well, we have our typical summer lineup of shows for our kids' productions, and then we'll have 4 shows over the course of the season.
4 shows, okay.
And we decided this year for our reveal to just make it a really fun event, because it is our fundraising event for our to be able to put on these productions. So we decided to make it a fun event of a night of bingo. So between the reveals, we'll be playing rounds of bingo to win prizes of purses and bourbon. So it's going to be a fun night. We are sold out for the night. So it is a very popular event, and we're just looking forward to it. So if you didn't get tickets to the event, we'll definitely be watching our social media to see what those shows are that are coming up in the new season.
Do you want to tell me quietly what they are? No.
On April 7th, I will.
So do you have a committee? Does the Encore Center get together when they start planning their season and making decisions about what genres they want to work with for the upcoming year? And is there any relationship to the world we live in and what would best be suited for the audience?
Mm-hmm. We definitely get together and talk about the different shows that we want to do and what we think our audiences would like to see and what would be relevant in today's society. So I think we do take all those things into consideration when we're picking shows. Also, we've had such a growth in actors, community actors that want to come and work with us.
That's
and we
great.
love that. And we love getting as much of the community involved. So when I look at shows, I also look at that of what people that we already have involved and what people, out there that's still we can add to our Encore family.
So when you say community actors, do you mean Moore County residents or people coming from outside of Moore County who want to participate?
We have both. I mean, we have many of our actors are from our people who live and work in Moore County.
Yep.
Just members of the community, and many people tell me when they come and work with us, they find their people and their place to be, and that is just an outreach in the community that we just love that we're a part of.
Yeah. Talking about local actors, actresses, we have two with us today.
We do.
Shannon, Helton, you've been on. Good morning.
Good morning.
You've been good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Your resume is pretty extensive. You have been in shows in the Carolinas, in New York, and Connecticut. Is that where you're from originally?
Originally Connecticut, yes.
Near New York City, or
in New Haven, so
Okay.
home of the Schubert Theater. So
how did you get down to? You live here now?
I do. We moved in 1990. My parents moved down here. My grandmother was already living in Sanford, had been living there for a while. I had cousins that lived there, and so we just decided to move to North Carolina and be closer to them. So North Carolina's been home for 34 years this August.
You said that all the performances that you do, you dedicate to your late grandmother.
Yes.
And first today in this hand, Granny. Tell me what that means.
So that was one of her toasts. Sorry, I'm getting a little teary-eyed thinking about her.
Yeah.
That was one of her toasts. She was the greatest little Irish woman, like just a little sparkle in her eye and everything, and always up to mischief. And so
Right.
whenever somebody would do a toast, she would have her drink in one hand, and she would do the toast and say, first today in this hand. And then if somebody was going to give another toast, she'd just switch to the other hand, and she'd toast and say, first today in this hand, but the drink would be in the other hand.
Did she have a theatrical background at all?
No, she sang in her church choir, but
Okay.
she didn't really have theatrical background. But she was very, very supportive of my dreams.
And your dreams are your passion.
Oh, absolutely.
And so Encore Center provides local theater in a beautiful small town atmosphere. Not easy to come by these days. with the
That's
economy.
something that was when I moved back with my parents a few years ago. I had been out of the theater world for about 13 years, and just sitting around one night, and I met Steve Kane, and he said, you need to go try out at the Encore Center. And I was like, well, what is that? And he said, it's a theater. And I said, there's theater in Southern Pines again? I was like, oh my gosh. It had been a while. So I did, and here we are.
The Encore Theater is very intimate.
Yes.
They've done a lot of work in the theater to improve acoustics, seating. It's very comfortable, but it's very intimate.
Absolutely.
You're right on. The audience is right on top of you, or vice versa, right?
Yep. I love
And
that.
you were in the last production, I think, in December. What was it? December?
No,
No, you were just in Don't Dress for Dinner.
Don't Dress for
That was in,
Dinner. Right,
February.
right.
Okay,
Yep.
that was just recently.
Yeah, the last one that they just did.
All right, and you're going to be in the upcoming event, which is April the 26th, which is called Nunsense, which is a award-winning play and movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't it turned into a movie?
Yes, we're doing actually the Nunsense, the mega musical version, which adds more nuns and father and brother
And brothers.
into it. So we have 11 actors in the cast, and it is just a hilarious show. And the actors that we've put together for it are just really going to bring it to life. Yeah.
And it's going to be for 2 weekends. April the 26th and the weekend of May the 5th. So how many total productions will you have?
Correct. We'll have 8 shows, so
Crazy.
April 26th through 28th weekend, and then May 3rd through 5th weekend.
That's crazy. We also have Luke Taylor. You play Father Virgil. You're also the music director? Or
Yes, I do.
Is that one and the same?
Well, no, the musical gets weird with like who's the musical director in the play, but Father Virgil I don't think is that one. But I am directing the music for all of our actors and actresses. Yeah.
And you were in Forever Plaid
Yes.
with the theater. I saw that actually in New York
Yeah.
on 72nd Street. I won't even tell you how many years ago it was, but how about over 25? And one of my sisters lives on 72nd and Central Park West. And so we went down, there was this little dinner theater. It was terrific. So I have to ask both of you guys, how is preparing for a musical different than preparing for a drama, let's say, or
You got to be practicing the music.
Oh my gosh.
As soon as you know your cast, you got to
Yeah.
be listening to the tracks at the
Over
very
and
least.
over again, especially when you're using tracks versus a live band. It's a lot different because you have to be, it has to almost be choreographed between Becky, who's going to be, in charge of playing the tracks for us, and then, being able to listen for when we're supposed to come in and the rhythm, and it's not like the band can follow you.
Yeah.
So-
You have to be, so who's the leader and who's the follower? If there is a band, they can follow the leader of the singer. If there isn't a band, the singer has to follow the track,
Yeah.
and that is a challenge.
is it harder? Is it harder than if you were doing a mystery where you were memorizing lines and spots and timing?
It's harder and easier. I mean, when you're singing, usually there's some rhyming patterns to help memorize lines. But for long monologues in a drama or in a mystery, there's not a lot of rhyming patterns to make sure that you're on the right track as far as what's my next line.
And memorizing monologues, you don't always have somebody that's giving you. You either don't have music that's helping you with those words, or you don't have somebody talking back to you to help you
Yeah.
remember those lines. So
You have so tickets have started to go on sale?
Yes, tickets are on sale
Okay.
on our website.
Okay. The Encore Center, for those of you who don't know, is located downtown Southern Pines at 160 East New Hampshire Avenue. The website is encorecenter.net. You can call the box office at 910-725-0603. And as usual, the Encore Center has a tendency and a very good habit of partnering up with nonprofits to give them exposure to raise some funds for them. And can you talk about who you're
Yes.
doing it with this year?
Yes, so for this show, Nunsense the Mega Musical, we chose the Sandhills More Coalition for Human Health as our nonprofit partner to bring awareness to them. We utilize their resource shop and those kind of things as well.
Yep.
To get props and things like that for our shows. And so we always like to support people in the community that help us out, as well as just people that we want to spread their name and make sure that people are aware that they're in the community as well. Just like we want our name to be out there, we want other nonprofits to have their exposure as well.
Yeah, the coalition does great work in
Absolutely.
Moore County. We're handling an estate sale in town on a house in a few weeks, and the person who runs the estate sale has a connection with the coalition, so that after the sale is over, the coalition comes in and picks up the things that have not sold, and they put them through their resale shop. And they're just a very active presence in the community.
Yes.
So 11 actors in the production.
Yes.
I asked them if it was harder than it would be in a normal non-musical. So I have to ask you the same question. Is it more difficult to manage a musical for you than it would be a drama or a mystery or just a straight comedy?
It depends. Sometimes straight plays can be just as difficult, but the challenges with a musical, especially for myself and Stuart, our technical director in the booth, is with a musical we add in microphones because they're singing over music. So in order to hear the actors, we're adding in mixing all that sound, as well as, like they were talking about, the tracks, and they can be very tricky on getting that timing down of when I'm going to make that track go for them. Especially, this show in particular, the tracks kind of stop and start throughout the song. So it's going to be a fun choreography with myself and the actors, me from the booth and them on the stage, to get that all coordinated to make it flow smoothly.
Yeah. Opening night is Friday, April the 26th at 7:30, and it will run that Saturday and Sunday. And then again the following weekend, May 3rd through the 5th. And you will have a matinee on Sunday, both weekends?
Correct. Our shows are Friday night at 7:30, Saturdays at 2 and 7:30, and Sundays at 2.
How is it to do 2 shows in the same day?
We've done more.
Yeah.
We've done shows of 3 before.
You mean are you
It's like a morning show,
Are
then
you
an after
inclu-
a matinee, and then an evening show.
So are you including the shows that you do for students here in and around Moore County as a 3rd show?
Yes.
Yeah, we do have some, don't
For our performers, sometimes we have to do 3 if we're doing like a student matinee for students in Moore County.
But that is a great thing that you do for the students, for they can come and see the production. I mean, it's exciting.
I think for Miracle on 34th Street, my wife had her students come in from Moore Montessori.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And we actually have Catherine Rucker, the
yeah.
Montessori people coming on the show. They're going to be on the weekend of the 13th of April. They have a lot of things going on over there. So your wife teaches there.
Yeah, my wife teaches there, and
cool.
she tried her best to surprise the students when they came in. They didn't know that she was going to be in the play. They just knew they were going to a play, and then when they arrived, she comes out on stage in character. It was wild.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Is this also the time of the year? Yes, you have the production coming up April the 26th. When are you out recruiting or advertising for the summer camps that you have?
Yes, so our summer camps, we actually announced those in January, and
Okay.
registration started in February, and they all pretty much filled up within the first week.
Wow.
So we have, haven't calculated up how many, over 100, maybe close to 200 students this summer that we'll have throughout 6 weeks of camps.
So compared
yeah.
to, let's say, 2 years ago, has the demand for the summer camp taken off like a missile?
Yes, absolutely. We went from doing just one version of a camp to having 2 separate sessions of each camp pretty much this year. So yeah, we've added a lot of camps because there is a demand and the kids just love it, and it's so neat to watch them grow from year to year.
Yeah.
Because theater just teaches so many different life skills of working together and you know, learning and sharing and all of the things that we need throughout life. So yeah, it's really fun to watch the kids grow over the years.
As I get around the community and I talk to people, I'm amazed at how many of the parents that I speak to tell me that their child is somehow related to the Encore Center. An example is Reagan Johnston. She is the daughter of Amber and Jordan, and I think she's taken some classes there. She's a freshman at Union Pines.
Okay.
I've known them forever. I had no idea. So the kids have really gravitated towards the Encore Center, and there have been some students that we've had on the show that have been very active, that have developed beautifully.
Yes. Well, the good thing is, you know, half of our building is our theater, but the other half is our studio space. And, you know, throughout this month, we're also getting prepared for all of the recitals, the music recitals, the acting recitals, the dance recitals. So all of that is coming up in April and May as well.
So we can, again, opening night is Friday, the 26th of April at 7:30. And you can go to the Encore Center at 160 East New Hampshire, go to their website at encorecenter.net, or call their box office at 910-725-0603. I'm always saying this as usual at the end of a show, best of luck with the show and the sales. But every time it comes and goes, I follow you on Facebook and social media. It's like one success after another. So I do wish you all the best to enjoy Nunsense, which should resonate very well with the community for all ages.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming
you.
in. And Shannon, thank you. And Luke, thank you. And again,
you.
best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our second set. We're doing 2 this show, Dorothy, not 3.
Okay.
Just because 2 guests, and they really do deserve the time uninterrupted as we move through the time.
That's fine.
So we're speaking this set with Lisa Ann Studer, who is the owner of Spiritquest at 135 East Pennsylvania Avenue in Southern Pines. She's celebrating her 25th anniversary in the business.
Yes.
Nice.
And where did tell me about Spiritquest? Tell me where you started it, because if I'm not mistaken, you've been here for a couple of years.
Correct.
2 years. Okay.
Correct. Thank you so much for having me,
Oh,
first
yeah.
of all.
Oh, yeah.
So Spiritquest started way back. The idea for it started back in 94, 95.
Right.
Very quick version of a very long story. I had went through a really, what I thought was a very difficult year until other years. And I went to take a class to learn how to meditate.
Right.
Because I was really stressed out and I didn't want to go on medication, and I had 2 small children, and I knew I had to do something because my stress and anxiety was out of control. And I went and took this class, and not only was it so helpful to me, but people around me started coming to me and saying, "What kind of medication are you taking?" And I said, "No, I'm going to meditation. I'm not taking medication."
Gotcha.
So 5 friends came to me and said, "Would you teach us how to do this?" And it all started back in Hudson Valley, New York. We started doing meditation classes in my basement with a group of people, and then they started bringing friends, and that's how it honestly all started.
Yeah. Okay. But that has mushroomed into more of a multi-level type business. It's not. Spiritquest is. Finish the sentence. Spiritquest is.
So Spiritquest is where science and spirituality meet.
Okay.
So it started way back in the day. The minute I started doing meditation classes, I knew like this was my life's work. I knew this is what I wanted to do. And I knew that someday I wanted to have a healing center. But I was young, my kids were young, and I kept saying, one day when I get older, when I have more money, we all do that what if.
That's right.
And I was doing readings, I was doing healing work, I was doing meditation. And in 99, I was at the end of 98 actually, I was run off the road by a drunk driver who fled the scene. And that incident completely changed my world. I was devastated after the accident. Thank God nobody was hurt. But the experience of having that accident with my kids in the car when I was doing all this spiritual work and helping people and, doing readings for people and getting messages. And then here I am, and I almost get killed by a drunk driver. So I would love to say I handled it very well, but I didn't. I spun out of control. I was very angry. I stopped helping people. I was so devastated that my kids were in the car when the accident happened.
How old were your kids?
My kids were 4 and 9.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was bad. And the worst part of it was the driver fled the scene. So when the ambulance got there, everybody thought I was in shock. Nobody thought I was actually run off the road. They told me I was in shock. I needed to go to the hospital. And then finally, because I was refusing to get in the ambulance until somebody went and looked at my car, when they finally went and looked at my car, they saw the paint from the car that ran me off the road all down the back quarter panel.
Yeah.
And then that's when they realized. And they did actually find him. He came to the police station hours later, I guess, after he sobered up. But that incident really changed my life. It's a really long story, but the short version of it, after I kind of came out of my anger mode, I realized that, none of us know how long we have. And I made a promise to myself in that moment, I was never going to put my dreams on hold again. And in 1999, I officially went and got my DBA as Spiritquest. Never had another job since then, never looked back, and it just kept growing from there.
You talked about earlier about your healing practice. Tell me about that healing.
So I started with the meditation classes. I started doing like intuitive readings for people. And then I was picking up like people that were sick and, people that were having health issues. And while that was all going on, my grandfather got really ill. And for 2 years, they kept saying, oh, he's just old, he's just old. And then he was diagnosed with final stages colon cancer. And that's what really led me to go and learn holistic healing. So I do Reiki and other forms of energy work, intuitive healing. Because when he was sick, Western medicine was basically like, he's dying, there's nothing you could do. And while I wasn't thinking it was going to be a miracle and I was going to save him, I just thought he should be a little bit more at peace with the process. There had to be something that could be done to just help him. And that's why I went and got certified in the healing work.
A couple of things you offer at Spiritquest: aura imaging, purple package I want you to talk about, and the salt room.
Yes, so I relocated from New York to
Yeah.
North Carolina in 2013,
Yeah.
and that's when I met my husband.
Okay.
And he is a massage therapist, and he's more, I always joke around, I'm the flaky, intuitive person. He's more the medical, super grounded. So I swore I was never going to have a brick and mortar center again. And as I was here and getting busier and busier, he was like, you know what, you really need to open another healing center. So we started with a small, 700 square foot space. We expanded. We were in Ocean Isle Beach for the last few years. So we had an opportunity. I had rented the space, it was 2,000 square foot. I was in there for a couple of months, and the guy who had the unit next to me said, I'm moving out, do you want this space? And I wasn't even using my own side yet. And I said to him, I don't even know what I would do with the space, but my gut was just like, I needed to do it. So I literally, true story, woke up one morning, and we were not married at the time, we were still dating. And I said to him, you're going to think I'm crazy, but we need to open a salt room. Not really sure what that is, but we need to open one.
Okay.
So we did a whole bunch of investigating. We're blown away. I've had allergies my whole life. So the benefits of the salt room and holotherapy on allergies and sinuses and lung issues. So we were the first ones to open a salt room in Brunswick County.
How does that work, a salt room?
So the salt room, basically, you have a holotherapy machine, and it's dispersing we use pharmaceutical grade salt. So it's broken down into a really fine particle size. So when you're breathing it in, it's getting into the sinuses, into the lungs, and it's clearing everything out.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the craziest experience that we've had with that. We had a client years ago who came to use the salt room. The shop had expanded. We had a 4,000 square foot shop. So I'm giving her a tour after the fact. She had the salt session, and I'm giving her, she had a couple of friends with her. And all of a sudden she stops and she looks at me and she says, I have to tell you something. As you're taking me from room to room, we had healing rooms, massage therapists. She goes, I just realized I could smell all the different scents. People were using essential oils. And she said to me, she had been in a really bad car accident years before, and she had had 10 reconstructive surgeries on her face. And she said the only issue that she still had was she never regained her sense of smell.
Right.
And she swears she would tell everybody the story whenever she was in our shop. She said while she was in the salt room, all of a sudden she just felt like a clump of something, and she started choking. And ever since then, she's had her sense of smell back.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And we've never had anything like that happen after that, but she swears by the salt room.
There's so much misinformation on social media about wellness, health, diet. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's mind-numbing.
Yeah.
And it's it's invasive.
Yeah.
And everyone is saying the same thing. Everyone's a snake oil salesman out there trying to pontificate about what it is they do, and it's the best and the greatest. Click here and learn more. I hate it.
I know you've started 99 when I did, right? And what a different world we live in now.
Oh, yeah.
Before, I would say I spent 90% of my time,
Yeah.
just explaining to people the benefits of what I did, whether it was healing work or meditation. Now I spend 90% of my time trying to explain to people why the information they're getting is not accurate.
Right.
So I always try to tell
right.
people, stop getting your information from social media. Go to speak to actual people that are in the field, not someone that read a book and is putting themselves as an expert in their field. You know, authenticity, experience, you know, is so important nowadays because it's so easy to get that misinformation.
Your husband, he works with you.
Yes.
Okay. So he's had 13 years of experience. He does Swedish, myofascial release, even I know what that is, trigger point therapy, deep tissue, cupping, and he's also a Reiki master.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's a massage therapist. I finally gave in and we got married right before the world shut down in 2020.
Right.
Yeah. So he is not only like my life partner, but he has helped Spiritquest to get to a level that I would have never thought of before. You know, the salt room, the biomats, the crystal light therapy, the aura photography. So I always say I dream it and he makes it happen.
Tell me about aura photography.
So aura photography is basically just showing the energy around you.
Okay.
Right? So we have chakra systems in our body. They all correspond to different things, and it's working almost like biofeedback. So you place your hands on this plate,
Right.
and it reads your energy, and we give you like this 17-page report that tells you all about yourself. So it's just another way to learn about what makes you tick, how to handle things. It kind of gives you information about what your color personality is, how that affects you in your everyday life, in relationships, in career,
Right.
in your spiritual life. So, you know, the more information we have about ourselves, the
So,
better we
and
are.
tell me also about the purple package if people were coming in.
Yeah, so our purple package, so we have salt room, right? So that's allergies, sinuses. We have crystal light therapy, which the crystal light does color, light, sound, aromatherapy all at the same time. The music that you're listening to with that is binaural beats, which there's so much research now about how that type of music balances both sides of the brain, reduces stress, helps people to focus, helps people with anxiety. And then we have biomats, which are absolutely amazing. It's infrared technology. And that is great for reducing inflammation in the body, which then helps with like joint pain, muscle pain. We use it a lot, and there's a lot of research now with people using it before and after surgeries for healing. So our purple package, we combine all of that. So you come in, you do 45 minutes in our salt room, you do 45 minutes in our crystal light room, and then you do a half hour on our biomat. And it's just our way of allowing people to experience all of the things in one day. So it's 2 hours, and you get to experience all the rooms.
Okay. You decided to you decided on Southern Pines. You decided because the culture here is conducive
I have to tell you, honestly,
Yeah.
my clients from the beach, like a lot of the people that would come down to the beach, we were in Ocean Isle Beach since 2013.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients live in Raleigh, they live in Cary, they live in Fuquay. When we decided to relocate, every single one of my clients was like, Southern Pines, Southern Pines, Southern Pines, Southern Pines.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and that's how I found out about Southern Pines. And when I came here, I fell in love with it because
Yeah.
I love like old historic towns.
Right.
And I love the train going through the town. And we have clients that come from all over the place, and they stay at the Jefferson, and they spend the day, and they go to the shops. And it was funny because when we were relocating, I honestly had no idea where we were going, but I kept saying to people, I just want to be in like an old-fashioned town where you can come and spend the day, the weekend, or spend the week. And that's exactly what's happened. So I love it here.
Yeah. I always joke if Norman Rockwell were alive and he lived in the state of North Carolina, he would very well possibly set up shop in Southern Pines.
Oh my gosh,
Right?
I totally agree. And I love this street right by the park because we're right across from the park.
That's right.
With those giant trees. Like you walk under there and you just feel like you are in a time warp. It is amazing. Amazing energy here.
So, Spiritquest, you are you're located in the building. I think it's the second building off Broad, Pennsylvania, or
It's
third
a couple
building?
of buildings in. Yeah, I call it the little cobbler's house because it reminds me of like a little cobbler's house.
Okay. And how many square feet do you have there?
2,000.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah.
All
But we
one-
had 4,
all one
so
level?
it's a little.
All
Yeah,
one
it's a
level?
one level.
That's actually
yeah.
very good. And I don't pick up a Southern accent at all. Okay. Your accent is pretty.
I
And
still have my New York.
if people want to get in touch, they can go to your website, or they can just stop in or call or contact you at your email, contact@spiritquestnc.com. And what's your website?
Spiritquestnc.com.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So that is your email as well.
Yes.
Okay. With the Spring Fest coming up, the festival, is that something you've been participating in the past?
We haven't done it in the past. We will be doing it this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll
Absolutely.
connect with a lot of people. Have you
Yeah,
ever,
we're looking very forward to it.
have you seen Spring Fest in action?
Yes. Last year. Yes.
It's like a celebration.
Amazing day.
Yeah, it really is. It's a celebration. You just got back from New York,
Yes.
visiting family or friends.
I was kind of a dual trip. I have grandchildren back there, so I was visiting my grandchildren, and then I still go back there and do reading events. I do workshops, and we had a celebration dinner because I still have the same clients from like 28 years ago. So we went there. We had a nice 25th anniversary celebration.
Oh, cool.
And then April 1st, we're actually going to have a ribbon cutting here at our shop on Pennsylvania Avenue.
All right. It's great to have so many entrepreneurs, independent business people in Southern Pines, and you'll notice downtown there are no franchises.
Yes.
Everything is independently owned, until you get out to the highway.
Right.
But that retains the charm, and it's a great walking town.
Yes,
Isn't it?
absolutely. Yeah.
I appreciate you coming by. So happy to meet you, and I hope people get into Spiritquest and see what it's all about.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Lisa Ann Studer, Spiritquest, 135 East Pennsylvania Avenue in Southern Pines. Thanks for coming. Dorothy, we'll see you next week. This is All Things Moore County.